TLDR. The BBC has suspended Gary Lineker from Match of the Day because he tweeted criticism of the minister's use of language regarding the refugee situation. If you live under a rock and you don't know who the BBC are, they're the world's largest public service broadcaster in terms of staff members. Up here in Scotland, they're just a scary story we tell the elderly to keep them frail, worried and paying up. Now, the reason that the BBC claimed that they'd suspended Lineker from Match of the Day was because of their strictly contracted social media policy, which is outlined as follows. Staff are allowed to engage in social media if they wish. The guidelines also state there must be a clear distinction between BBC CBBB accounts run by the CBBC for BBC purposes and personal accounts. Now, interestingly enough, the tweet came from Gary Lineker's personal account. There was no mention of the BBC in his bio, in his Twitter handle, in his tweet. Absolutely no links to his job. It's pretty much, very much, obviously, Gary Lineker's account. Listen, I'm not exactly a historian, but here is a list of historical biases the BBC has been accused of in the past, and I'll let you decide whether or not they are the impartial body that they claim to be. On this list, we have biased against South Asia, biased reporting of the Israel-Palestine conflict, Arab Spring sensationalism, anti-American bias, we can forgive that one, anti-Catholic bias, anti-Muslim bias, biased reporting of internal sexual abuse scandals. We'd be here for a while if I started going on about that one, so I'm just going to breeze right through. London centrism, Scottish independence coverage scandals. The BBC has also been accused of biased election coverage in favour of the Tories. They're like your neighbours that won't tell you what they voted, and that tells you everything you need to know. Long story short, don't pay your TV licensing fee, because the BBC just uses it to harbour sexual offenders and lie about being conservative. Basically just Tory stuff. I've got a little bit of history on the BBC. The BBC was started in the hopes of avoiding the strange open market craziness of America. At the time, the post office decided, fuck it, monopoly. We're only going to give one broadcast licence, and it's going to be to an amalgamation of the wireless receiver builders of the time. They were sort of like a coven of sort of business tycoons that all came together and decided that they were going to own radio. The Siebes beeps beep beep has been trying to come off as impartial for a long time now, cosplaying quite badly, actually. This incident isn't the first time that the BBC's neutrality has been called into question, however. In 1926, during the paper mill strikes, there was a severe shortage of newspaper printage, and the only real source of news broadcasts was the BBC's radio broadcasts. Now, at the time, what impressed the public was their impartialness, the fact that they were reporting on both sides of the issue. However, they weren't. They were withholding Labour broadcasts, and at one point they even withheld a peace plea from the Archbishop at the time. Kind of just goes to show the minute that you're given power, it corrupts, absolutely, right? If this was an iceberg video, this would just be the tip. Like, this would be the intro. The BBC has done a lot of things. It's been around for a long time. Any company that's been around for a long time like that has done some stuff. Something that's worth remembering is, as I said at the start of this video, the BBC are the world's largest public service broadcasting company. It's important that we hold that size of a company responsible for things that they say. If they say they're impartial, then they should be. And if they show that they aren't, they should be held accountable. In this particular instance, they have reinstated Gary as a commentator on Match of the Day, and they're doing an internal review of their social media policy, which we all know means they shat the bed. Simple. That's all, folks. Don't forget, don't pay your TV license, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much. One of the largest public broadcasting services in the world. And if you guys subscribe today, you can get 5% off your G Fuel boxes because they're the largest broadcasting service in the world. No. Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here! That was the take! Get out! Fucking whore!
I'll fucking take you.
You hate me!